those of you who may not have heard, Charlotte's reminding us that the Chamber of Commerce was very involved in this 20 years ago. We will continue to work with them, and maybe specific names that you can get to us. Charlotte's been involved in Bloomington United again and again and again. So we'll talk about that connection, but that's another important entity to be reminded of that's been part of this group. Faith communities as well. Yes?
We have a representation here from Trinity Episcopal Church that's just formed a new commission that follows along Bloomington United. I was wondering whether or not either the university or Bloomington United has a task force or a study group that's focused on the DACA students and what their status is and how are we preparing for the response to government policies around them.
Great question about the DACA students and what Bloomington United. Do you want to say a word, Lillian?
No, John.
John?
Yeah.
Okay. So specifically, we've not done anything yet, but this is one of the reasons I invited this man to join us.
Thank you.
Tell us what you can.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the question. We're deeply concerned at the university level, the system-wide level, about the fate of the students who arrived to Bloomington in good faith, written, fully documented, prepared to study. We want to follow through with our commitment to them. And so I'm part of a DACA contingency planning committee that is system-wide. And we have been meeting very regularly with particular intensity the last 2 months. And in view of the daily developments, I think in the last 24 hours, a ruling has been issued that we believe will stay any action that would be adverse to DACA students. But and I just received an email before this press conference started with regard to that. So we're very vigilant. We're definitely talking to officials across the Bloomington campus, but particularly across the whole system, the Bloomington, Indiana University system. We have developed some plans, plan of action that for various contingencies. So yeah, absolutely, we're engaged with that topic. Thank you so much for asking that.
And from Bloomington United, is there a subgroup that looks
Well, there's
at
not a group specifically, but that can happen. And one of the wonderful things that happened with Bloomington United 20 years ago was an amazing circle of friends who got to know each other because of our mutual concern. That will continue right now. And so, we can be a connecting point for groups that are arising in different places, congregations, other communities, and we can help make those connections. At the moment, there's not a specific committee or task force, but you can bet I'm going to talk to John regularly about this now. So that's the value of what we're doing here this morning. Thank you for that.
I have two questions. The first, is this being formed, would you say, more proactively as a preventative measure or in response to specific situations you're seeing within our community? Or, obviously we know about what's going on like down in Paoli, but that's one question. The second is, my understanding is the state legislature still hasn't passed hate crime legislation. Will you be working with them to try to do that?
You're giving us a mandate.
I think we did do, when we Bloomington United while we were involved before, we did go to the state legislature several different times and support hate crimes legislation, and do want to. Again, we don't have a specific task force. However, that doesn't mean it won't be created or can't be created. I think it's very, very important. And then with regards to reformulating, it wasn't in regards to a specific incident in Bloomington. It was proactive, except at the same time there have been incidences that have occurred on campus and probably in the city as well. So it's a combination, and we really have not been so strongly active over the last probably 3 years or so. So we felt like it was the time that we needed to be.
We checked as recently as this morning with IUPD and with the Bloomington Human Rights Commission, and there's no knowledge of hate groups planning to come here, so I would call this preventive medicine. That's a great question. Back there.
So in response to Jordy's comments about proactive stances and the last question, let's look at the education system. Because it's the one public institution where people have to come together and sit together and learn to be citizens and learn social solidarity. And we now have public policy that separates people, allows public funds to go to schools that discriminate against, for example, gay and transgender people. So I would suggest very strongly that we're going to be proactive and reach the largest number of people, but they have to learn to live together, that we go and link up with the public school system and see how we can work together with them.
This is why we're glad you're on the Bloomington United organization. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
Phil.
Another area, we had several students a year or two ago that were working very passionately to get a resolution passed through IUSA with respect to hate and get some resolution passed. And maybe that's an area that Bloomington United could help with students that are involved in Bloomington United to maybe help reignite that resolution, because it didn't make it all the way to actually being passed.
We had a few students involved in our organizational meetings, but we have not sort of infiltrated the campus and gotten students involved. IDS called last night, and I know is going to get information out about this meeting. And so we hope to be a little bit, we have some representatives of student organizations and offices here today. So Bloomington United can't do everything. Let me remind you that we're all volunteers at this. But we all have various contacts, and that's the value of what I think we've been able to do.
But if students do get involved in Bloomington United again, maybe that's an area that with the resources of Bloomington United, it could help them get this resolution passed, which is really important.
And we were just, actually I was just having a conversation this morning saying that one of the important points for Bloomington United is that we want more student involvement in this reinvigoration effort. So that's something that we really take seriously, and several of us in Bloomington United will be working on even more so than we did the first time around.
We don't want to belabor this. We know you all have other things to do, but we'll stick around and answer questions if you have others. Please help yourself to any of the literature that's out there. When it's gone, we'll get more. I know there's already cash and checks in the basket, so we can place an order this afternoon.
What's the Facebook page?
Say again?
Oh, the Facebook
What is
page.
the Facebook page?
And the website, what are the addresses for the Facebook page? How
Mara,
do
can you
people
give us
join
the
that?
Facebook page address?
I'm live right now, so I'm here, so I think it's just Bloomington United, search Bloomington United.
Okay, thank you. Some of us are not technological. And the website? Just Google it.
Google it,
Thank
Bloomington
you.
United, great.